The growth of any business is directly linked to the leadership culture at every level within the business. Imagine having a growth-minded team of leaders throughout your business who could make your life easier. Imagine if you had leaders who could inspire and engage others to own, navigate, and overcome the toughest challenges. Today, I'm going to unpack how to get everyone in your business to operate with a leadership mindset. Let's dive in. If you want to grow your business and develop a high-performance culture, you must phase out some outdated thinking. Leadership is not a privilege reserved for the C-suite. It's the lifeblood of every successful company. As a leader, your job is to get everyone in your business, from individual contributors to mid-level leaders to even to the C-suite executives, to operate with a leadership mindset. Just imagine for a second how that in itself could transform your business. If you're sitting in the C-suite, I want you to listen closely. Implementing a leadership mindset throughout your business doesn't just happen, right? And it doesn't happen by osmosis. It requires conscious action, and that action starts with you. You set the tone. If you fail to emphasize the importance of leadership development at every level in your business, then you can't realistically expect others to exceed expectations. You must be the catalyst for growth, so your team is inspired to own, navigate, and solve problems with greater confidence and determination. Now is a great time to ask some tough questions. I suggest you start with these. Are we building leaders at every level? Do we have a culture that values leadership development? Is our vision being communicated throughout the business in the way that we want? Do we trust our leaders to represent us when we're not there? Are we putting our trust in the wrong people? How would our culture be impacted if some of our best leaders left? Who are our emerging leaders, and what are we doing to develop them? See, that's just a start. If any of these questions raise some concern, we should talk. Follow the link in the description to book a call. In the meantime, let me drop a truth bomb. You need your leaders to think like leaders. And oftentimes the reason they're not is simple. The problems they face consume them. So I want you to write this down. The problem is not the problem, whatever that problem might be. The problem is how we think of the problem. See, this is the main reason most leaders are buried in the weeds of having to try to micromanage and solve everything for everyone. The main thing I want you to understand here is this, that leaders must think differently about their problems. They need to see things as they are, not better or worse than they are. It is what it is, right? They need to resist the temptation to judge something as good or bad. The situation is what it is, right? I've seen way too many leaders waste precious energy on why a specific problem is so bad or how a specific situation could have even happened in the first place, which, by the way, is the classic blame game. Leaders need to redirect all that energy to actually solving the problem. Right? I mean, solving problems, in my opinion, is what leaders are paid to do. I believe passionately that a leader's job is to shine a light on the path forward. That starts with envisioning things better than they are, not accepting the status quo or being afraid to take risks that will actually grow your business. Leaders also need to recognize that they're never alone. Help is always available. In fact, that's a spiritual truth, and I talk about that often. See, too much is changing too fast for any leader to go it alone. Leaders need to be a catalyst that co-creates something better, and that requires them to tap into the thought leadership of others, to seek guidance and help. Unfortunately, many leaders struggle with this. They have this false belief that they need to figure out everything on their own, and that asking for help might be a sign of weakness. Let me be honest with you, man. Nothing can be farther from the truth. Asking for help and giving your team a voice is a leadership strength. It also inspires, motivates, and drives loyalty. Guess what? The opposite is also true. Not having a voice fuels frustration, discontent, and drives attrition. Let me ask you a hard question. Do you really want to go through the headache of recruiting new leaders when you already have them? Let's face it. It's costly and it's also a pain in the ass, right? Here's the truth. Your best leaders will eventually leave if they don't feel that you are invested in them and their careers. If you're doing M&A, this takes on an even greater level of importance. But there's another, deeper reason to invest in leadership development. It elevates your company's culture, a culture that values personal and professional development, a culture that values a willingness to evolve and improve, a culture that breeds accountability, a culture that values succession planning and employee retention. If you're thinking about offering a leadership development program for your team, I want to offer some thoughts for you to consider based upon my years of experience. Here are 3 very important ideas to ensure success. 1, most leadership training fails because it consists of too much information transfer and not enough focus on implementation execution. The essence of any successful leadership development program is to turn information into behaviors that are repeated to the point where they become new habits. 2, leadership development programs need to inspire leaders to engage and connect everything they're learning to their most important goals and challenges. Making that connection, right, is the true gold. It will only get illuminated by coaches who understand those challenges and can help others connect the dots. And lastly, one of the biggest issues with many leadership training programs is that they usually are led by internal trainers who have little to no leadership experience and even less business experience. Effective leadership development goes beyond theoretical concepts. It's a practical journey that immerses individuals in the realities of leading teams and organizations. This process needs to be anchored in real-world scenarios, right? Where participants can confront real leadership challenges and then apply their skills of what they're learning in tangible situations and learn from those experiences of people around them who have navigated the complexity of leadership firsthand. Here's one last truth bomb. You need your leaders to grow if you want your business to grow. That's just a fact. That's just a simple fact. When you infuse a culture that values leadership at every level, you know what? Something magical happens. Your senior executives will then find themselves with greater freedom to focus on long-term strategies rather than firefighting day-to-day issues. Why? Because they are supported by competent leaders throughout the business, right? Leaders who can inspire and engage others to own, navigate, and overcome problems and tough challenges. Let me close with this. Leadership isn't a title. It's a mindset. It's all up here. It's a mindset. If you want to develop a leadership culture in your business, I invite you to schedule an exploratory call. And I promise you, no sales pitch, right? No commitments. Just want to have an engaging conversation about what works and what doesn't, just like I did today. I promise to seed you with some ideas that you can start implementing right away. Follow the link in the description if you're interested. Okay, if you like what I shared today, do me a favor, give it a like, drop a comment below related to your business, and of course subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away. We'll talk to you soon.